Now, what's happened to the post office? Tim Maloney, KC, has said of the post office scandal that the 76 postmasters who had their convictions quashed only after having had their lives destroyed by scandal at the heart of this inquiry, this has produced what he says physical, mental, and economic health collapse. It's wrecked their physical, mental, and economic health. Time and again, he says, they asked for help. And the post office management and the investigative teams were, he said, willfully blind or disregarding of the proper lawful administration of justice. This is quite a censorious judgment, and we haven't got to the end of the Horizon inquiry yet. The post office and Fujitsu, which supplied the software, were focused, he says, on their own commercial interests, including brand reputation, and what he called, quote, the appalling lack of professionalism of lawyers combined with bullying investigators. Well, I'm afraid he shouldn't just cast the blame at the lawyers linked to the post office specifically, because the whole legal process has demonstrated the failure of our legal system in this country, I'm afraid, and he has to take the rap as well. The Independent today carried a story about an earlier computer system used by the post office called CAPTCHA. And there's a harrowing story there about Mary Fisher, suffering from breast cancer, recovering from a mastectomy and undergoing chemotherapy, who was victimized, accused of shortfalls by the post office. And once again, documents demonstrate that the post office was fully aware of the problems with the system which they were using, as I say, called CAPTCHA. And a sitting MP, Shane Rowan, was caught up in this mess as well and spent 15 years paying back the supposed shortfalls accrued between 1993 and 1996. And he took a second job to pay for the money the post office demanded to repay that debt, which probably did not exist in the first place. How is it possible to take the post office seriously when, in the language of the police, it has form like this? The compensation scheme and the reparations are not going to stop with sorting out Horizon. I'm afraid the post office is now going to have to sort out CAPTCHA as well. And that goes back to before the post office was privatized. This is a mess, and the government has a duty, a responsibility, an ethical responsibility to put things right as fast as it possibly can. This has gone on for too long, and not a single party can hold its head high, because every single party has got constituents who no doubt have complained and nothing has happened. This is lip service to justice. This is lip service to law. This is lip service to parliamentary authority and to the right practice in our country. This makes us look a laughingstock. It makes our law, it makes our process, it makes our parliamentary sovereignty look ridiculous. And somebody needs to call this out. This is not about a small incident involving a small group of people. This is about the collapse of our system. This is about offshoring responsibility. This is about displacing responsibility and saying, oh, well, if you've got a complaint, go to the complaints department. I, who caused that problem, I have no responsibility in dealing with the complaint. It's a complaint. It's dealt with by the complaints department, not by me. We need people who are doing things to take responsibility for their doings and stop passing the buck and passing the blame on to the complaints department that has no idea what it's talking about. When people call you, can I urge you to get their name? And when they say, oh, my name's Stephanie, well, ask what's the other name, and if they don't give it, ask for a desk number. You have to hold people who you speak to responsible for what they say. We're told that our conversations are recorded. We need to be recording and monitoring the conversations that we are being gifted. By who? Who knows who these people are? There is software out there that can transform a voice. We don't know who's on the other end of a telephone managing your complaints.